Now to our exclusive CBS News interview with Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy. Today's firing and suspensions follow our year-and-a-half-long investigation into sexual assault in the military, including interviews with nearly 24 victims and their families. We asked McCarthy why action wasn't taken sooner and where the Army goes from here. Some of the soldiers we talked to and the whistleblowers said it's time for a Me Too movement in the military. Do you expect revolutionary change?
Yes, I do. What you'll see is one of the most comprehensive steps in accountability in the Army history to get after this.
The most comprehensive in accountability in the history of the U.S. Army?
It'll be among one of the largest, yes.
In the course of our own investigation, service members told us they experienced retaliation for reporting sexual assault.
They were trying to break me down. They just go after you because you're the victim and you're the problem.
It got to the point where I didn't just wish that I never reported, I wish that I'd never joined. I wish that I was dead many times.
Survivors told us that no one took their reports seriously, and that when they did report it, they were often retaliated against, and that in some cases, the retaliation was worse than the assault. Is that unacceptable?
Totally unacceptable. It's incredibly disappointing, and it's some of the things that we saw in the independent review's findings.
We also spoke with the families of 2 suicide victims who said their daughters' assaults and retaliation led to their deaths.
I still cry every day. My mind's always on Nicole. I turn one corner, there she is. I turn another corner, there she is.
She was doing a job that she loved. It was for her country. And to think that that's what took her life. That's what broke her. They wanted her body, and they took her soul. Were you able to see our series of reports on CBS?
Yes, it was very powerful reporting. And anytime you see soldiers, or we're soldiers for life, whether they're on active duty or not, for them to come forward shows how terribly hurt they were, and it just compelled me want to respond.
What do you want to say to those families?
I'm a father. I have a young daughter that couldn't imagine the pain that they're going through.
And what do you say to families about whether that's going to change or not?
It will change. It's going to change. We're going to use that 140-page report as a mechanism to create the enduring change that we need. It will change the Army.
Sexual harassment and assault in the military are not new. 15 years ago, the Pentagon created a program to try to fix it. Today's report sheds light on where it falls short. I noticed that in the new report, you acknowledge that ineffective due to command climate. That sounds kind of like a euphemism. What is command climate? Commanders. That's the problem.
In this case, some of them, yes.
And while today's report outlines wide-ranging reforms, one of the most stunning revelations is that only half of female soldiers interviewed felt confident their commanders would take any report seriously. Those survivors and whistleblowers that we spoke with raised real concerns about whether the Army can police itself.
It's fair for them to be upset. Results matter.
So is it a cultural issue or is it a command issue?
Commanders set the culture.
And those commanders will be held accountable?
Correct.
You will likely leave in a new administration. How do you ensure that this doesn't just become one more report about one more problem?
It's why I wanted to make this decision before January 20th. I did not want to pass this to my successor. People need us to perform, and we're not, in this particular issue, we're not performing well, but we will get better.
And that includes fighting for the soldiers who are victims.
Every day.
And we will continue to follow this story. And while the Army took these steps today, we should note that our reporting revealed the failure to stop sexual assault is not just limited to Fort Hood or even the Army. The problem is more widespread and impacts all branches of the U.S. military.